Hi everyone, welcome to White Noise. My name is Robyn and I am your host today. Yay! I have already been up here talking for about 20 minutes it feels. So I'm out of things to say. So actually I'm not because I'm being a good host today and I wrote down things to say to you guys because I'm trying to be better about remembering important things to say. So, okay, first very important thing to say that I forgot to say last time. Last White Noise was our 50th White Noise, and today is the 51st. So, we're celebrating the 51st, not the 50th, because whatever. And I realized, I was like, oh, isn't that a Jimi Hendrix song? And it is. It's called 51st Anniversary. So, you know what? There you go. So it's a great day. White Noise 51. Here's to 51 more. Oh yeah, I started this thing. I did start this thing. Well, I started White Noise. So.
And White Noise has always been here at Greenkill?
It's always been here.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm surprised I'm not been here sooner. Sorry.
It's okay. That was me and Melissa. I don't want to say former host. She just hasn't been here in a while. Yeah, it was me and Melissa. It wasn't inspired by the book, the Don DeLillo book, which I haven't read. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know where it came from. I mean, it's a pretty good name for an open mic. Yeah, it makes sense. So, yeah, it just stuck. And what else was I going to say? If you guys want to keep up with White Noise, you can follow us on our Instagram, which is White Noise GK, or our Facebook page, which is White Noise. Oh, and if you would like to watch the recording of this afterwards, because everything clearly is being recorded, it is on the Greenkill Sessions YouTube page. So that's really cool. David does quick little editing right after this and posts them literally the same night, which is extremely impressive. I have zero video editing skills, so let's give it up for David. Thank you, as always. And I also have been doing a little initiative recently where I started a Google Calendar and I post all the open mics that I know of in the Hudson Valley on the calendar. So if you're ever interested in going to another open mic in your area, you can. It's linked on our Instagram page, which is White Noise GK on Instagram. And so yeah, I gotta do a little update, but yeah, I've been keeping up with it, and it's not just poetry, it's everything. It's all kinds of open mics. So we got everything from down in Sullivan County up to Woodstock. So and if you know of any other ones that are not on the list, please send them to me, because I just think it's a good resource to have, because sometimes I'm like, wait, I want to do something tonight. I want to go to a little open mic. So I just look on the calendar and I'm like, wow, this is helpful.
Thank you for doing that. That is very helpful.
Yeah, you're welcome. That's why I do it. Last thing, well, I'll just save this for the end. But okay, so
Question.
yeah.
Did you
Uh-huh. For once.
Is there a time limit?
Okay, this is also important. Ugh, God, I'm sorry. I didn't even write this down. Typically 8 minutes. I can't even stick to one thing. Yeah, 8 minutes. 8 minutes. But if you go over, I mean, I'm not going to do something. I really,
You don't have a hook.
I don't have a hook, nor do I have a line nor sinker.
There were 4 people on the list.
Yeah, you know what? It's gonna be a short night, which is great, and I No, I'm sorry.
So soon.
I'm sorry. Listen, I live an hour away. I'm genuinely exhausted. If I'm talking a lot, also it's because I drank so much coffee right before I got here, which I don't do. I don't drink coffee, as I've probably said to you guys before. So I was like, and then it does. Oh my god, it was so good. I do love a coffee like later on in the day. Yeah, night coffee. Oh, that's a
That's a good call. There's a song by Jared Nelson and What the band has a song.
Oh yeah, that's true.
It's actually a good name for a poetry reading too. Night Coffee.
That is a great guys. Come on. So Philip asked me to start off the list. So I'm actually not gonna do that. But what I am gonna do is something that I used to do all the time here, and it is read something from a book I've been reading. I've been reading the complete works of Gary Lutz, who, if you guys don't know him, is incredible. I'm like, this book is blowing me away. I mean, his writing specifically. He is just pretty, I don't really even know how to describe him because I've never read something like this, but I've just been underlining really good lines because he has such good lines. So I'm going to read you a few of his lines because I think you'll like them. Okay. Let's see. Let's just go through. Let's see. We got okay. This is the end of, they're all short stories, by the way. So this is the end of one. It was my mother who taught me the one worthwhile thing. When they ask if you like what you see in the mirror, pretend that what they mean is what's behind you. The shower curtain, the tile, the wallpaper, whatever's there. This is the first line from that story. Do what I do. Come from a family, have parents, have done things, shitty things, over and over and over. And this is from the middle of that story. My father never came home sick in the afternoon to find me on my knees in the living room with my mouth full of somebody's grave, helpless perpendicularity. I never got to see my father eye to eye like that the only way I wanted to.
Well, that's romantic.
Right? Let's see. There's probably like a few others. Most days, what I felt was this. The minute you put a first name and a last name together, you've got a pair of tusks coming right at you. I am waiting to be addressed as Miss. It is this alone that they must mean when they keep pleading there is no such thing as a stupid question. Some days my trouble is nothing more than the heavy concentration of both parents in my body. So he writes a lot about family and being part of a relationship. He writes from the perspective of both man and woman in a relationship. And I don't think either work, but they do. It's really bizarre. But he's just really great. My hand was already on his upper arm. It was one more thing in the world my hand could fit around without ever once actually having to hold. Let's just do like two more. There are two types of people in this world. Just don't ask me where they live. Okay. And this is just a really pretty line. I had my choice of the woman's sleek, solid body electric or the daughter's elderly Hawaiian, an acoustic, which lay in a case lined with wine-colored felt. Okay, I'll just do one more. I know I said two, but they're just so good. I I think she was waiting for them to bleed together into a single soft bone disappointment. And that's a few lines of Gary Lutz, who I've been a huge fan of. I believe so. I actually don't really know too much about him. My friend was like, you have to read this book. And she is like my friend where if she tells me to read something, I'm like, okay, I will read it immediately. She's like the most well-read person I've ever met. And she also just gets me. So I'm super into this. But once I know more about him, I'll let you know. But yeah, that's all I got for right now. Let's kick off the rest of the open mic. I feel like this has been the Robyn show. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, I gotta look at the list. I'm sorry. Give me one sec.
You forgot him first?
There are two types of people in the world. I just don't know where they live. Reminded me of that. And then the dark stuff reminded me of Suicide Note from a Smoker. I got tired of it taking so long. And I don't think about harming myself, but I have been thinking about having an accident. So earlier today, I was thinking about telling you this true story about when I was a kid and I didn't know what capons were. But I loved capers. I never even heard of capons, but one time I was in, and I liked capers, and I was like 5-ish. I can only remembering. And I was in a store, and I saw things that looked like chickens, but it said capons. And I found out that they were male chickens castrated. And I thought capers were the byproduct. And so I didn't touch capers. I mean, would you? Yeah. Those are cards. Here's cards. I wrote something on the way over. And then the other night, a lot of the things that I wrote were kind of stoned musings. And so are these. This is at a show I saw over in Hudson. And I thought they were like language poets. Dissociation by design. You know, dissociating by design is an interesting. Someone has made my mouth smaller. That's a quote of one of the artists. I'm sure this has happened to you too. I have this really, really dark anti-war poem. And then I have this poem called The Stranger. The Stranger, stop me if you know this one. The stranger often puts his arms around you, but always from behind. The stranger smiles like he's known you forever. The stranger says he has a war wound, but he won't say what. The stranger doesn't eat fish, but he won't say why. The stranger sometimes looks at you as if he sees straight through. The stranger is always alone, except when he's alone with you. He seems to be deaf in his left ear, but denies it when you ask him. The stranger says he's from a town you've never heard of. It sounds like Eastern Europe, but then you think perhaps Ohio. The stranger always has a cigarette, but you've never seen him smoke. The stranger routinely asks to stay the night, rarely seems to sleep, and is never there when you awake. The stranger never calls when you're at home, but has left you exactly one message every week you've known him. For now, you think the stranger makes you happy like no one ever has. That's a dark tale. of romance. Rivers and gardens. The strongest argument against war is the nature of war. The strongest argument against war is the nature of war. The river is Jordan, and the garden's gone wild, a corruption of flowers and the rupture of seeds. The sky bleeds and blows clouds and people to pieces. These are not pretty petals with their sudden bloom in crowded places. These tulips have no sweet. These roses have no name. The wine has turned, the bread has mold. The birthplace of the three may now bury 1,000,000. And here is a boy who has lost his shoes below the knees. The river is Tigris, and the garden is vile. No roses torn from stem. Who wears these thorns? Who cut these palms? Who parted these sands? Who raised this Mecca? Eden boils, a failure of seed. The apple is cut and rots. Roots are ripped. Ivy tangles. Here is a boy who has lost his shoes below the knees, and a father with no sons. The river is Euphrates, and the garden is vile. Armed and fertile with something new and cruel. The pin is pulled and ready for seed. The soil is plowed open with pits. Green bolts to red. What bounty, what harvest. War is a crop for fattening a few and feeding no one. Rain cuts a man into parts. This piece was his leg. Here lies his arm. These things used to belong to him. And in the powder, and the bloom is off the rose and in the powder. What tills this soil? What waters these wounds? Here is a boy who has lost his shoes below the knees, and a father with no sons. The strongest argument against war is the nature of war. The river is Hudson, and the garden's gone wild. Here's a boy who's lost his shoes below the knees, a father with no sons. This is the season of bolt and ruin and the bruising of fruit. Here is the shrinking vine, the driftroot, and the idle rain. Where is the spring sprout? How is this harvest fall? The river is Potomac, and the garden is vile. Here, everywhere, are boys who have lost their shoes below their knees. Yeah, that's, I wrote that when we were about to invade Iraq, back in 2003 or something, 2. Okay, you've probably had enough of me. Have you had enough of me?
No.
I'm not nearly as capable as I may have indicated. Okay. I've rearranged my week alphabetically. Friday, Monday, Saturday, Sunday, Thursday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Rearrange my week. Sometimes I talk to myself. No one else will listen. Are you listening?
Oh, yeah.
I'm just checking. How about there? What camera are we on? Are we on that one? We're on that. No? Which camera? We're on the middle. Hey there, Movie Land. So I'm thinking of starting this thing called Leftovers with Phil. And maybe if it gets off the ground, it'll be on Greenkill's website. So the idea will be I'll have a guest. It'll be like a little talk and nosh. They'll be bringing leftovers from a local restaurant. Is astrology just New Age racism? Reincarnation, here today and back tomorrow. Either I misread her signals or she miswrote them. Meeting new people is like arriving in the middle of a movie, except you're allowed to talk. Welcome to Woodstock, gateway to... I just flew in from Chicago. Boy, are my jokes tired. I can hold a note, but just the one. Life in the disabled lane. Narcissity. She had hair waving high. This isn't really, this is from the pile that's supposed to be funny. How did this get in this pile? All my dreams have come true, and all my nightmares. All that remains is determining which is which. Welcome to Woodstock. This is the shit that happens. I'm not filtering at all. I should be filtering. Close only counts in horseshoes, hand grenades, and a few communicable diseases. Short letter to Betty Grable. I heard about your, do you know who Betty Grable is? Some of you do. During World War II, they had a pinup of her, like looking in a one piece, looking over her shoulder with her butt and her legs. It was very popular amongst the GIs. Short letter to Betty Grable. It was a very famous poster. Uncle Sam wants you kind of thing. I heard about your legs, slender and world famous. I've not seen them, but I can imagine traveling all the way from the ground to Hollywood. I think that's the most pornographic thing I've ever written. That's not true. I used to write, I had this idea for love letters for dummies. And it was like a Mad Lib, you know, where you fill in the color of the person's hair or, you know, their name. And I had about 15 of them. They were good. For boys and girls. I should never have fastened my balloon to your belt loop. I've heard it said that you lose 90% of your heat through your head and your hands. Does that mean if you walk around with gloves and a hat, you're fine? The bean counter, so many beans and still no hill. Yeah, I found a soft place between a rock place and a hard place. And that place is here. You guys have been just something. Great. You've been great. You guys have been great. David, you've been great. Cameras, you've been great. All three of you. And Mike's, what can I say? It's been nice talking to you.
Thoughts about your performance, none of which are coming to me now. No, kidding. That's my quip, okay? No, that was lovely. Each one of them a totally different vibe.
I know, it's like schizophrenia.
I get it. I feel like that is me in the course of one poem, usually.
Dissociation by design.
Yeah, you're gonna get a little bit of that today.
I mean, I was hearing these language poets. One of them, not a piece of paper, totally, and singing. He was dressed in gold lame. It was at the Park Street Theater in Hudson. They have these wildly eclectic shows. Anyway, and the series of words, very infrequently were there any sentences. There was no noun, verb, object kind of vibe to it. It was, he had a few anthems, but it was very interesting work. But it was like on purposely
all over the place.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm interrupting.
No. Very
It made an
interesting.
impression.
Yeah. Big fan of Hudson, New York. I think that's such a great place. And they've got really good food there.
Yeah.
That's usually a sign of a good place, is if they got good food. Just gonna say it.
Leftovers.
I love that idea. I think you got great ideas.
That's a good idea.
You know,
That's a good idea.
one thing about Philip is he has good ideas. You gotta give it to him. Oh, you just wait. Listen. This is my biggest anxiety is being put on the spot. Okay.
Second on the list.
Yeah. Listen, I got it. I'm on top of this for once. Because there's no one here. That's why I'm on top of it.
We're here.
Yeah, thank you all for coming. So next up is Sunny Wolf, and after Sunny Wolf is Jolly Joe. Welcome to the stage.
Sunny Wolf.
Thank you.
Oh!
Heyo. Hello, people of the earth. It's good to see you. It's good to see all your beautiful faces. It's good to be out with the people, you know, and not isolated by myself. You know, there's more than 8 billion people in the world, and so many of us just feel like we're by ourselves, you know? It's like, how did that happen? How the heck did that happen? You're not wrong. You're not wrong. So yeah, I'm just gonna play some songs. Well, there's too much political hogwash, debating about if them bombs gon' drop. When judgment day I come ready or not, we got to keep the fire burning hot. Oh yeah, together we can move mountains. Let the mind's illusion of division dissipate. Fill up our cups in the fountain where the fresh water flows from the spring. Every day we wake up, it's a new day, yeah. And you know the old saying, love will find a way, yeah. It's got to. Life is not a race, more than give or take. And the music feels like meditation, yeah. Man, burning hearts like the way. Yeah, yeah, yeah. When the roots of the revolution run so deep, like every river vein flow to the sea. Check your mental perception of reality. Fed up with bullshit superficiality. Make no mistake about it. In nature's wild, you cannot tame. There ain't no way around it all, Lord. Only the soul shall remain. Every day we wake up, yeah, it's a new day. And you know the old saying, love will find a way. Life is not a race, more than give or take. When the music feels like medication, yeah. Man, burning hearts like a wave. Yeah, 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 yeah. times does history have to repeat itself before we learn, to get along with ourselves and with each other? War, what is it good for? Absolutely nothing, yeah, yeah. Oh, war, what the hell is it good for? Absolutely nothing, yeah, yeah, yeah. Getting mad at it doesn't help. You are forever pure, you are forever true, and the dream of this world can never touch you. So give up all attachment, give up all confusion, and fly to that space that's beyond all illusion. You are forever pure, you are forever true, and the dream of this world can never touch you. So give up all attachment, give up all confusion, and fly to that space that's beyond all illusion. Sudosi budosi niranjanasi samsara maya parivarjitosi samsara svapanam traijamu anidram nadjan mamrityor tatsat svarupe. You are forever pure, you are forever true, and the dream of this world can never touch you. So give up all attachment, give up all confusion, and fly to that space that's beyond all illusion. 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 Yes. Thank you, thank you. My out of guitar tune thanks you as well. Yeah, thank you. Thanks, David. You're awesome, man. All right, well, I'm tired of tuning my guitar, so I'm gonna play some didgeridoo. Thank you. This is the didgeridoo.
That was really something. I didn't expect, no offense, but I didn't expect you to be so good at that. That was pretty impressive. I mean, yeah, that sounded really mean, but I meant it totally as a compliment because...
No, I took it as a compliment.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, good. Yeah, it's crazy how much range you can get with just one chord, really, right?
Yeah, this is made out of PVC pipe, too.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so cool. It looks like it's made out of wood.
Yeah, it was painted.
Wow. Very cool. Yeah, that was super impressive. I was into that. I just kept thinking, I was like, imagine if like you were walking like in the woods by yourself and then you just hear that in the nothingness. That would be terrifying.
Would you follow the sound? Would you go?
I would run away. I would immediately run away. Really? Oh my God. This is the two types of people right here. I'm someone who runs away from any slightest noise when I'm in the middle of the woods. I'm like, there may be a person in the distance. I'm going to run away. Like literally run. I have ran out of the woods more times than I am happy to admit. I'm like little Red Riding Hood in the woods. There's always a big bad wolf after me in my head. I know, if it would... I'm sorry. I'm trying. Yeah. I'm trying. You know, it took me a really long time to even... Okay, here. I'm going to put this all on the table right now. I have a lot of paranoia. I'm a paranoid person. Like, ever since I was a kid, I was super paranoid of everything. So...
I don't see you that way.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Is Robyn out of the woods yet?
Okay, so here's the thing. I just recently, within the past year, started experimenting with going in the woods by myself. Because that was a big thing for me. I was, like, really afraid to do that. Yeah, as someone who has a lot of fear, I think it's like, a big thing is being a woman, and then the other thing is it's just who I am. I mean, I'm a little scaredy cat. Okay.
Wait, can I tell you something?
Yeah, please.
Paranoia?
Yeah.
I'm really into etymology of words.
Okay.
She was just telling someone about the word paranoia the other day, because it gets this like negative reputation.
Yeah.
For obvious reasons. But actually, the noia part comes from the Greek word gnosis, which means knowledge.
Uh-huh.
Like the Gnostics and the gnosis.
Uh-huh.
And the para means like above. So it's actually like we're all like whatever is paranoia is actually basically like tapping into the collective unconscious.
Whoa.
So it doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing. Like you could.
Yeah.
We use it really negatively, but historically it's been used more also to describe someone who can like catch things from the ether.
I think that's true.
Yeah.
Could you use it in a sentence positively?
Yeah, you could say like some people with paranoia have
Good reason to.
are picking up on messages from sunflowers, something like that.
Wow.
I thought of that because I'm seeing this.
That's really interesting. I love etymology. And that makes me feel a lot better about that. I also, ever since I was a kid, I always was convinced I could see ghosts. That was another thing for me. Hence my paranoia. Because I was like, I would just like be walking up the stairs and I'm like, there's a ghost. I'm scared. But I think it's just like I was naturally like thinking it was a scary ghost. But not all ghosts are scary. It's just...
Some ghosts just want to be loved.
I know, you're right. And I'm just like, I am like, karate chop that guy out of here. Please go away from me. I don't want to have these feelings, okay? I wish I wasn't paranoid. I wish I couldn't tap into that. But Okay.
It's a benign ghost.
It's okay. You know what? I get good vibes from this space. I think I've lived in haunted houses my entire life.
Scream the exorcism?
I'll tell you later.
I didn't know that either. That's pretty interesting, and I need to ask you more about that. But sorry, guys, I got sidetracked by my own paranoia. Like always. But let's just move right on. You just got me thinking about. You see, this is what happens. You did something really beautiful, and I was like, fear. You know, like I was like, where would I find that scary? That was where my mind went. I gotta correct this thinking.
I'm glad you're facing your fears, though.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm glad too because it's been a long road. Yeah, but it's once it gets warmer out, I'm gonna go on more outdoor excursions. But literally, I'm not even saying this to like make me sound like a wimp, but I have the beginnings of these trials. I would run into the woods, like literally running, because like I'm a runner, and I would be running right back out, because I was like, there's something here, like, and I think there was. I live in a really haunted town, and yeah, well, I think. No, I'm not. Yeah, caves are cool. I'm sorry, guys. I just can't relate. I wish I could. I think I gotta go back to therapy. That's what this really is going back to. So let's move on from that. Yeah, thank you. Except you are not willing participants. To Cali? To California?
There's a big hip-hop single. Going back to Cali.
Oh.
You could modernize it. Going back to therapy.
Guys. Okay. Let's just, yeah, that's true. Let's, thank you.
Absolutely. The world is seeing it.
This is gonna, it's like, there's no use in hiding it. It's all out there.
The next job, they're gonna
It's okay. I'm fine with it. I've accepted.
search and
Who?
they're gonna find it. Next job interview.
Okay.
The good stuff, because, like,
Yeah.
somebody might see this and be like, oh, I can relate to that. Wow, I never thought about it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talk show.
Well, anyone who can relate, I'm sorry. Just sorry. So on that note, let's welcome Jolly Joe because we need a bit of jolly. Welcome to the stage.
Follow me around. Yeah, the didgeridoo was a great opening. So please, can you just come and do that while my enemies are talking? Just have that drone going. Oh, thank you so much. I'm inspired by you. That I'm gonna pull a little trick out of my sleeve for an opening here. I know I need you. Ooh, Snoop. Yeah. Thank you for that. I had to didgeridoo it. I just had to. Yeah, this is cool. This is a little toy from Serena. I'm really excited. She gets me. You know, she gets me. She knows my kind. This is kind of my therapy too here. We're going to go through stuff. You know, I'm excited though. Today I've had like dog therapy times 3. I've been watching dogs, which reminds me of when I first came to White Noise and talked about dogs. And I was here last Valentine's Day and I ripped up a love letter I found on the street. Go back in the archives and look at that from last year around this time. But the dogs are so cute. They're just so special. I got 3 old women dogs. They're like the Gilmore Girls. They're so cute. They love me, and I love them. Like, I feel like people love dogs more than they love other people. Really, they do. And I used to think I was allergic. Today, if I was allergic, I'm not now, because my coat, I'm like a walking hairball. Really, I am hair everywhere. But everybody should own a dog. They are so sweet. If you can afford it. If you've owned a dog, I'm proud of you. If you were a dog in a past life, I'm sending you love, and I'm sorry, because it seems like they're needy and a little sad. Even the happiest dogs are like, they're very needy. They very much want your affection all the time, most of them. And I love it. I love giving it to them. Most of the time, they come up and are very sweet and cuddly, and they stink a little, and they slobber all over you. And they treat us. And I've found on the streets that, like, you know, when you are with these dogs and you see one on the street held by a person, you're more excited to, like, get to know the dog than the person walking them. You're kind of like, forget about the person holding the leash. I've noticed myself making the mistake of being like, oh, what's the dog's name? Not you. I don't care what your name is. I could care less. What's the dog's name? In case I see the dog again, I'm going to remember it. But why do we do that? I mean, I should be going up to people and getting to know their name first, and then their mythological creature that they're there with. The dog is a special being, but, you know, it really is a reflection that these animals and the person, they're often one. I really feel it. You see, they look like their owner a little bit. They're like a fragment, a part of you that you put so much love in. And I don't have one. So I am petless. So I am the dog. If you want to come up and pet my beard after the show, I'll take a treat. I love collecting big sticks. That's my reward for going on walks. Yeah, I'll curl up next to you. But really, it's an amazing thing. I love getting to know these animals because I never was allowed to. We had a bird growing up in the house in a cage until, I swear to God, my parents will say this never happened, it got sucked up into a vacuum. I'm pretty sure. They said, what? No, that didn't happen. We were vacuuming and it flew away. But I remember it differently. It's one of those things. It was a little something. It didn't quite sing, but it beatboxed. And it was kind of cool. It would wake up my friends with some beats in the morning. But pets are beautiful, and I'm trying to learn to love all living things. It's a thing I'm working on. Even my enemies, or people who I think are, you know, you try to send love their way, because really, same as the dog, they're you too. Your enemies are you too. Yeah, take that one. Take a second on that. But I'm into these people. And I'm also curious about other people. I'm always looking outwards. The eyes are the windows to the soul. And my eyes are always staring into other people, trying to get that little moment of connection. And, you know, I love when people don't have curtains. It's so great. I mean, I get excited. I walk by and I see this. I'm always looking. I'm like, okay, that guy, he's always playing video games. What is wrong with him? Every day he's shooting people on this TV. No wonder he leaves his dog out in the cold. All right, what's going on next house? She's cooking. It smells good. Maybe I can, go over there and see if she needs any salt, or invite her over for dinner for once. You know, the curtains thing is like, when I'm in my own home, I close them because David's got the right idea. We have a curtain wall here. We don't want anybody to know there's a show going on. They walk by and think it's closed unless they can hear my voice through the glass, because we have this giant curtain. But the world has too much curtains. There's a need for us to open up, and And I'm in a glass house now. I'm starting to open those curtains up. And if you own a dog and leave them inside all day and your curtains are closed, screw you. Come on. That thing needs something to bark at. What are you doing? You know, you're trapping it in a box. It's not okay. I'm talking to you, sister-in-law. Yeah. There's a lot of people I see when I'm walking through the streets. There's people who are like playing music, they're doing things, but there's nothing like walking through the same old houses. When I go to New York City, it's like an all-you-can-see buffet. I love it. I'm like people watching on the max. I love sitting in Times Square and just watching the world go by. Or even better, get me a cup of coffee and put me on the terrace of my mother-in-law's house in Queens. All the buildings, no windows. So I turn into like Jimmy Stewart from Rear Window. I'll get my binoculars and, let's see what we got here. Yeah, look at that. She's straining her pasta. Nice. I realize it's kind of creepy, but it's really with good intention. Oh, look at those two are dancing, and those two are fighting. And that guy's alone. And he's watching the news, and he's watching the news. He's watching the news.
Wait till you find somebody else with binoculars looking at you.
That's the creepy thing. When you find another, you've never seen another looker, but sometimes there will be another person looking back at you. And I'm the weird one all of a sudden, like, oh, what's that guy doing? But nobody really looks back often. I mean, you know when sometimes they do. Oftentimes in a car, you'll be driving and you'll turn, and what happens? For some reason, they'll almost sense it and go, what the hell are you looking at? But it doesn't happen when people are in their own worlds. But you know where it does happen? Social media. That's the ultimate window. That's our chance to show what you want on yourself, what's going on that I'm willing to show. And, I am trying to put it all out there. I'm trying to come out and do this kind of thing, trying to come to open mics to reveal, here's what's going on in my window, folks. How do you like it? How's the site so far? We doing all right out there? Yeah? Because inside my eyes of my soul, there is a big aching heart just waiting for it to get nicer outside and waiting for us to be nicer to each other. Wouldn't that be nice? Yeah. I'm imagining, it's Valentine's Day, and every year I try to watch this movie, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. If you've never seen it, it's a film where they create this idea that you can completely erase a person from your mind. Someone maybe you broke up with, or you're so sad that they died. And the movie goes through this experience from the most recent memory with them all the way back to the beginning. And I have an idea. In a couple of years, we all went through this election together, and we were here on election night. When this is over, let's hope in 4 to 8 years, I hope 3, I'm going to do the eternal sunshine of the Trumpless mind. And I'm going to try to get that surgery done. And it can happen. I'm going to forget it like I forgot trigonometry. I'm going to try to forget about from his closing goodbye all the way back to the first time I saw NBC. Money, 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 money. The first time I used to watch his reality show with my parents. Yeah, this guy has been shoved down our throats for years. And, he's just another bulldog. The fact is, if I erased all of those memories, you know what I was thinking? It's probably not a good idea, because we can't forget about these people, because as you said before, Sonny Wolf, history repeats. And we don't want to forget about these people. We don't want to forget about the bad apples or the people who have divided us or the people who have lowered the bar. We have to keep them in mind and learn how to vote for peace. And become yourselves the president of peace. It's a daily vote.
Forgive, but don't forget.
You can forgive, but don't forget. I'm not going to erase all my memories of Trump. It would be like if they erased all the memories of Adolf Hitler and, we forgot about that. But guess what? We can't forget about it, because Jewish people today feel scared and more scared than ever. Kanye, you can go away for a while. Get the hell out of here. And same with any Nazis and people who are bringing down the vibration. Jolly Joe Jester, I'm getting real for a second just to say I love Jewish people and I'm here to support you. I love people of all religions and all races and everybody here on this earth. You can come. You don't just look on my window. Come on in for a glass of tea and let's raise the vibration together. Yeah. Who let the dogs out? You. Sing it with me. Who let the dogs out? You. Who let the dogs out? You. We could do it together. And remember, dog backwards is God. So look into their eyes, give them a little treat, and treat them like somebody who's really upset and angry and just wants you to give them a big hug and a big dose of love so that we can get through another day. I'm Jolly Joe Jester. Peace and love from my home to yours. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Joe. That was lovely, like always. Definitely needed that. Definitely Jolly. I was also just talking about curtains the other day, so that's so weird you brought that up. In my personal life, my boyfriend is like very pro curtain, but I refuse the curtains. But I don't like the one right next, because we have huge windows, like they're really big in our house, in our apartment. And we have one right next to our bed, and it's so lovely because in the morning the sunlight comes in and it's like it wakes me up, and I love being woken up by the sun. So I'm pro curtains sometimes, but not next to my bed. I like sunlight. I don't like to wake up into darkness. I think that's horrible. But my dad, I'll never forget, like growing up, he was always the guy to be like, these people and their curtains open. Like, who are they letting us into their lives? Like, he always had qualms with people who kept their curtains open. Like, he couldn't get it. And he would always make fun of them. He's like, we could see into their house. Like, and I'm like, relax, sir. Like, just don't look if you don't want to look. My dad is very Italian and very outspoken for literally no reason. But I love him. But yeah, just got me thinking about that, So thanks. And for everything else. We should all love each other more. I love all you guys, but, outside of this really amazing little bubble, the world is tough. And we gotta be a part of the change that we want to see. Period. So, yeah, next up is Lovejoy. Wait, you put a different name down. Yeah. Happy Dan, welcome to the stage.
You're talking about the world now, right? It's just amazing how it works out. You got all these different dimensions, all these different people. They're all like happening at the same time. And here we are trying to find ourselves amidst this chaos. And like all of a sudden, like, what's this? Well, we got the little dog over here, right? And we got a taxi over here. We got a pizza up here. We got seals over here. We got a little ache in the wrist right here. We got this little pharmaceutical pill. We question right here, and on and on and on. And what happens? We get overwhelmed. We get scientific. We get romantic. Yeah, we get poetic. Let's not forget that. And most importantly is we get real, because we can't avoid the fact that here we are tripping over ourselves and trying to make sense of reality. Oh, God. Whew. Man, oh, man. It wasn't that long ago that I thought I had all the answers. And I wrote a book. And then I realized that wasn't good. So then I did something else. And that was good. And then I tried to put those pieces together. And before I knew it, I was like aching for the gym. And I went for it. And then before you know it, I just like transformed into this other beast that I couldn't really come to senses with. And I just like watching myself. It's always different, you know. I mean, I remember I had a little hole in my pants right there. And I didn't care. People were looking at me, and I was saying, "What are you looking at?" I knew what they were looking at, but I didn't care. I still have those pants, but I sewed up the hole. Oh God! No, that's not right. No. That's like I added up all the numbers, right? It's not right. It's never right. I just take that for granted now, you know. When anyone gives me a number, I don't even tell them to check it twice. I say it's wrong. It's wrong. That number's wrong, you know. I dreamed the other night. I dreamed of 781. You know, I woke up and I said, "What's that about? 781?" You know. All through the day, I was looking like, what? You know, no, nothing. Right. This is how my day goes. I dream, I look, I wonder, then I give up. Then at the end of the day, I'm happy. I did my thing. That's what I do. So yeah. Really? I don't expect any more. It's time for a change. I'm ready. I'll pay anything, please. No, really. I got this. Really, watch. Okay. So, yes. All right. So the focus, folks, is seems like the theme tonight is a better world. Maybe that's always the theme, but the focus is on calibration. Because if you don't calibrate, you don't know anything. I remember my uncle told me when I was just a wee lad, he said, "Calibrate, my boy." And I went to my dad and I said, "What does he mean?" My dad said he didn't know, and that was the beginning. That was the beginning of the journey for me. And here I am, X amount of years later, and I still don't know what that means. And I'm being honest with you. I'm being very, very honest. I almost feel like I'm naked, sort of, in a way. But, I'm much better now, thank you. I think I'm going to move into the intellectual zone and analyze the working class mentality and how it inundates itself to the bifurcation of the existential comeuppance of do's and don'ts throughout history, have you. Therefore, we shall culminate our philosophical bent with a witticism that you cannot miss. Why, just the other day, I thought about this, and I came around full circle, and I gave myself a kick in the pants, and I said, "Yes, Happy Dan, you can do anything." This one little voice in me goes, "Are you kidding?" And golly, that's just so cool, man. Wow. Okay. All right. I got time for one question. Come on. Yes, right here.
Why are we here?
Why are we here? It's so weird. You know, every time I ask questions on stage, people ask me the big ones, you know. But, you know, that's because people want to know. They want to know, why are we here? Why are we here? Okay. Well, it's funny you asked that question. Because I was just asking that question. Yes. I know. It's okay. Well, we're here to be ourselves and to continue the human race. That's basically all there is to it. Now, when you say be yourself, you're getting yourself into some deep doo-doo there. But the whole point is here, like Study so well tells us, is just to be ourselves, be comfortable with who we are, to laugh. So if I were to make a list here, I would say laugh, be yourself, enjoy, communicate, grow, learn, and do something wrong now and then, because that spices things up. Thank you very much. I feel very complete in my communication tonight. I'll have you know none of this is scripted. In my studio, I sit there and stare at myself and say, "Who are you?" And that does it for me. So thank you for your time. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for checking out my Patreon. And most importantly, love is the answer. Yeah!
Thanks, Happy Dan. Wait, was that your name?
I'm experimenting.
Sorry. Happy Dan. Thank you. I love the glasses. Yeah, they were awesome. Your goggles. Yeah, that was awesome. Sorry, I'm coming down from the coffee. Wait, what?
Everything I did, the goggles was the best.
Well, the goggles struck me. They struck me. No, actually, I wrote down something you said that I really loved. So I'll tell you what I wrote down. I also brought my journal. Like my journal.
Beautiful.
It's new. I've been writing in it every day before I go to bed. I dream, I look, I wonder, then I give up. I like that. And I signed it Lovejoy on how his days go. So, yeah.
From Dakin's gig. You wrote something down from
That was it. Yeah. That wasn't me. Yeah, I was paraphrasing a little. All right, so I guess you guys are ready for me now. Not like I've already taken up so much time here, but it's okay. Sometimes you say more than other times. I think I needed to talk, I think I needed to get it a lot out. Yeah, I got some poems, and I also brought my journal because I was debating on reading something from here. I don't know if I will, but I may. I wrote something in there. Instead of watching the Super Bowl, I watched like a 3-hour long documentary on the BBC, which was incredible. It actually wasn't on the BBC. I pirated it, but it was amazing. It's called Hypernormalization. It's about the post-truth society that we live in. And it was genuinely so good. So if you are down to watch a really long documentary that will tell you all about the nature of our post-truth world, Hypernormalization, it was quite incredible. yeah. You know what? I'm going to just start with that.
Yeah.
I'm going to read it. I actually haven't read it since I wrote it, which was 2 days ago. But, so, yeah, who knows? I might not be able to even read my writing, but we'll try. So I wrote, tomorrow, I outlived all my predilections. Somehow, in a bed of warm cheese and tomato, a star was born, blooming out of my anxious chest. A star of peace, a star of war, all internal, all hyperbole. I become transfixed on the essence of stardom and fall even deeper than I ever had before. All for a taste of it, of hyper-reality and hyper-normalization. Bred of Soviet disinterest and a lingering aftertaste of deceit. We created the supercomputer and the atomic bomb, but we are still far from world peace, from an American society built on trust and equality for all. Instead, we have reverse Robin Hooded our way into total oligarchy, still referencing a piece of paper written by a man with good handwriting and a penchant for God Almighty. Before we had read roads, we better... Wait, I think I just was rambling. I don't even know what I said here. Before we had real roads, God damn it. Before we had real roads, we better understood what we wanted to stand for as a nation. Well, before modern society, we weren't so damn concerned about appearances, and everyone was pissed drunk from morn till night anyways. Then Prohibition, then the Second Great War, then the Cold War, McCarthyism, Radio Gaga, etc. And suddenly they were injecting kids' cereal with chemicals disguised as sugar, and a broke businessman who cheated on his wife with Miss Hawaii became president of this identity-less country. And all we can do is wonder what's next. So that's what I wrote after watching that documentary. Yeah, that was a little rough. Sorry, guys. I don't write well right before bed. My handwriting is a little crazy. But now I'm going to read you what I actually came here to read, which are a few poems. This one I wrote yesterday, I believe. It's called Soikle. Like circle, but soikle. I shovel down the last few bites of a guava pastry we got from the Chilean bakery in Terrytown. My throat is scraped and sore, refusing elaboration. Instead, I talk to my grandmother on the phone for exactly 55 minutes and 55 seconds. And then my cat comes over and I forget everything I was going to say. He has this way about him, eyes a quarter the size of his head, which is all fluff, and makes me melt into a puddle of love for a creature so cute. I think, man, it's too late for this shit, but insert some analogy about God and how he was probably alive past 9:15 and hope it sticks. It never does. Not like the grumbling matter in my stomach tossing and turning into heightened remission with my disease of girlhood, bred by woman into this soft coating of me that is going blow for blow with all the sin I'm burping out. I call it quits and wait for a cab home. Except I am home, goddammit, and just unsettled as hell. Just trying to be a poet when all I feel is repressed, and unfortunately they didn't write about repression in conjunction with poetics, and if they did, it was in a bad way. Unfortunately, I'll always see the glass half empty, and I guess this is my fatal flaw. I write the advice show anonymously every week and sign with a different name every time. And by the end of it, I've become all these people, but I've yet to quite grasp who she is, writing all these formal requests and questions to some faceless voice on the other line who must think they've garnered a real following. Unfortunately, I don't remember one line I've ever read and could never pick out your face in a crowd. Except if you somehow painted your face a color that'd stand out. If you were purple, maybe I'd notice you. I've been living off a shade of red that gives me indigestion and agita, just like the computer screen after 15 hours or a balloon floating into outer space. Or turning on the floodlights only to find a possum eating the cat food, and you are so full it all comes up. Beyond capacity and perpetually paranoid like a stinky little cat. God, does this mean life imitates art or the other way around? I take a deep breath, twiddle my thumbs and tap my foot against the floor, swivel in my desk chair, stroke the keyboard non-committally. This is my problem, never knowing when to let up. I got the anxiety levels of a newborn baby, a creature all nerve and nerve ending, nothing in between. Just a bed stuffed with the dried fluids of meaning. Meaning, I've had a long day, please leave me alone. Meaning, the proximity from here to there is approximately down. Meaning, you can fill your life with many things, but none of them will do the trick like drugs can. Meaning, I'm not exactly sure what that meant, but I'm pretty sure you understand. Meaning, there's a solution hiding here somewhere. For now, I take my time digesting and have a stare-off with the cat that exists inside and out for me, inside and outside of me. Wait for it to kick in or lose my... I'm sorry. Wait for it to kick in or lose my train of thought. Okay. So this next one is...
Good night, Bob.
Good night. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, good night all.
I'm almost done.
Thanks, Dave.
So this next one's called Floating, ... floating. I'm a particle of fiber floating in a used bookstore, the floater in your eye, ash sent soaring into the sky from a crackling flame. I'm all this and tired, constantly unlearning bad habits and dying out from a silver bullet. There's a star tonight, blinking in my eye, a hole in the middle of me, and tired, injecting stimuli into my veins and holy, pernicious towards fate, or a razor blade, flashed in your face, hammered in tight spaces. Suck the sweat off your fingers and call me holy, leave the rest for later. And I float away on the current of your flavor, naked and wrapped in wire to hold me together. I am all pieces torn together, glass broken from the bottom, boiling hot water, particular, and tired, floating in tired, adrift, uninspired, a lady lost in a mire. Thanks. And then I got one more. This one's pretty short. It's called Dead Skin. I have so much art without any frame, and they're all scattered around my apartment like dead skin, but they're so alive that the rooms are teeming with this energy I can hardly control. And each morning when I wake up, there is a ringing in the air as if all of the art is talking to me, as if it is calling to me. And I sit up in bed and stretch out my limbs, my beautiful naked body gleaming in morning glow, and I exhale, and I exhale, and I resign myself to humanity, to society, and to art and connection, and a part of me just wants to live in the art I hoard, in piles without frames, which is growing every day, and he loves the walls bare, so I can't really argue with him. Well, I could, but I'd rather just not. I'd rather just keep the peace for whatever that's worth, though sometimes I seriously wonder if it's worth anything at all. The peace, the ringing, the effervescence of morning air, still through my breath that pushes up piles of dead skin into the air, but these are the only moments of silence in my day, before the first purr, the first motor, the first keyboard clicking into infinity. Thanks. Thank you. You guys are awesome. And that's really it. I just have one more thing to say before we go, which is the one thing I didn't say in the beginning. It's our next event, which is 2 weeks from today. I think that's the 27th. It's literally 2 weeks from today, so it's not hard to remember. 2 Tuesdays from today. And we have a featured performer that day, which is super cool and exciting. I'm trying to keep up with the feature thing and have one a month. But this feature, her name is H.R. Webster. She is a local poet who lives in Kingston, and she's going to be performing her poetry, I hope. 25th, yeah, it's the 25th, not the 27th. So February 25th, we have a featured poet, and then after that, it's still our regular open mic. So if you'd like to come perform afterwards, you're more than welcome. It should be a great event. And then after that, we are scheduling out into March, April, and, forever and ever, I hope. As long as you want us here. But yeah, thank you all for coming. It's been wonderful, as always, and appreciate participants and audience members alike. You guys are awesome, and yeah, that's really all I got. So thank you all for coming. White Noise, signing out.